Hey guys, so I'm live from my living room again, and what I want to give you today is just a really quick shoulder tip, especially when working with individuals that are a little bit more flexed in the thoracic, so it's a little bit harder for them to extend. If they're here, a lot of people have difficulty segmentally extending from vertebrae to vertebrae. So what happens in that position is, the body's in that position for a reason. It finds that it's relatively safe here. So the last thing to do is try to really fight through that extension. You're actually fighting through the brain and why it's wired that way. So instead of fighting through, let's appreciate the position they have. And by appreciating the position they have, work with that flexion. By working with that flexion, you're actually going to open them up a little bit more, because one, the serratus and the shoulder muscles can work on that rib cage, concave being on convex, scap on rib cage, and you're giving the brain some good feedback about where the rib cage and the pelvis is in conjunction with itself. So instead of trying to do tons of extension stuff to open up the back here, if they're seeing a physical therapist and the physical therapist is doing some manual techniques, little segmental joint mobs, etc., that stuff works too. But at the same time, you have to appreciate the body, load, and understand, breathing and all these other mechanics are what is really going to set these individuals up for success. So, in terms of positions, I'll just give you a quick demonstration of a push-up. So if I'm doing a push-up, instead of just trying to have them get flat as can be, they're not going to be able to achieve this position. One, because they're, locked up here a little bit, and two, it's just going to be a pain in the butt just trying to have them go down, and they might even end up sagging a little bit in their low back. I'm sure you've seen those individuals that have that little arch in the bottom of their back. So instead of trying to fight through that and adding more, injury or symptoms, pain to the low back, to the neck, they may have that shoulder blade popping. Instead, just work through a partial range of motion of a push-up with their available range of motion, so their available flexion. So if they're a little bit here, that's okay. So now we just work on this range of motion, and that's completely fine. And a cue I use for those individuals is actually lead with your head or lead with your nose and load in this plane. Now, a lot of people also with this posture may have some bicep issues. That's when you really have to be on top of where the hand's positioned, how far are they going, where is the elbow, wrist, hand alignment lining up. Because a lot of people with the bicep issues are going to be here, and they'll be grinding on the front of that shoulder. So controlling that range of motion, making sure everything is stacked appropriately, is going to be the best bang for their buck. Alright guys, I'm not as out of breath this time as I was when I did the squats in one of those other videos. But have a great weekend, and hope this is helpful.